Good morning. Welcome to episode 42 of the Driller Newscast, our weekly newscast on everything we need to know about the drilling, the water, the construction industry, and our featured stories. Sadly, episode 42 is our last show of 2022. The next two Mondays is the day after Christmas and the day after New Year's Day, which for many of us is an observable holiday. Except for when that dairy farm's out of water, that family needs water, we go out and we heed the call. I hope you get some well-due rest, and that doesn't happen this year. For us at the Driller, we view this as a perfect time to pause, reflect on the year, and spend time with our families. The Driller team has worked hard for 42 weeks in a row, and I couldn't have done the newscast without them. In this episode, our featured industry professional is the legend Art Steelman, who's going to talk about sharing knowledge. Next, we talk with Jack DiEnna, geothermal guru, about the industry and what it has to offer us drillers in 2023. Finally, our feature story is a view of what 2023 has to offer and what we must do to staff up properly to be part of this boom. But before we get into this week's episode, let's talk safety. And did you end the year on the naughty or the nice list? For this week's safety topic, it's simple. Are you on the naughty or the nice list at the end of this year? I want you to think about all the dangers and risks that occur every day in our industry. OSHA has a regulation that states for workplaces where serious accidents, such as those involving falls, suffocation, electrocution, or amputation, are possible, emergency medical services should be 3 to 4 minutes away. Otherwise, an individual on site must be trained in first aid and CPR. I want that to sink in. At Groundwater Week, we had many discussions, and there were lots of innovations out there for breaking out bits, for hands-free rod handling, for manipulating tools, control panels that are now away from the rig, out of the danger zone, hard hats, safety gear. There's plenty. One discussion that really just poked me right in the side was a discussion about how many individuals need to be on a drilling site in order to be safe and successful. I'm going to say right now, anybody who believes or advocates for working alone on a drill rig is on the naughty list. And you're getting a piece of coal from Brock Santa Claus for sure. I mean, even coal miners who drill don't drill alone or mine alone. A robust work alone policy for those jobs where we're doing small service calls and those types of situations is very important to us to know where our people are and keeping them safe. But with suspended loads, rotating equipment, high pressure air, welding, handling casing, it's inappropriate. There's plenty of things we can do alone. We can search on the internet for better and best drilling practices at thedriller.com or many other places. We can do accounting alone. We can read law alone. There's plenty of professions, but drilling is not one. It's a minimum of 2 people job. This is not the quote that I heard of. It's a logistics problem. It's not a drilling problem. The problem is advocating for the wrong safety measures in an industry that will kill a man or a woman in a very quick moment if there's not somebody else there to hit the stop button or call 911 or apply triage as their emergency responders are on the way. So that statement that emergency services should be 3 to 4 minutes away, otherwise an individual on site must be trained in first aid and CPR. In reality, it's both individuals, or our entire team should have basic triage. And we should have a first aid kit that allows for, tourniquets, and being able to apply pressure and all of those situations that are very important to us in the drilling industry. Beyond that, this summer, as we reported the most trench fatalities in many years, we're now at 25, with one happening last month and one happening last week, 10 days before Christmas. We need to be a smart industry and understand the reasons we use trench boxes. The same reason we need to understand confined spaces or electrocution or falls or suspended loads. PPE is the last line of defense. Making good choices and being able to execute is exactly what's important. So I want to ask you right now, are you going to be on the good list or the naughty list? Because we have to keep our people safe. We have to have their backs. And there's nothing in any situation that says I should be operating a rig by myself, regardless if somebody drops off a piece of equipment and helps you set up. The days of working alone are a century ago, and it wasn't appropriate then either. Be safe out there. Start the holidays right. Get everybody home safe. Cheers.
Hi, this is Brock Yordy. I am live at Groundwater Week 2022. Yes, the show is tearing down. We are done. It's Thursday. You hear rigs, you hear high-lows, and I got a chance to grab this man because he has been talking with folks, sharing knowledge, sharing stories. Drilling is all about experience, right? Sometimes experience is what you don't get what you wanted. And I have Art Steelman with me. Introduce yourself.
Art Steelman. I've been in the drilling industry for about 35 plus years with a focus on reverse circulation and dual tube flooded reverse circulation. And it's an honor to be able to share stories and talk to people and provide advice and hope and pray that the things that I've been blessed to learn in the industry that I absolutely love and honored to be a part of, that I can keep that momentum going for the next generation.
And so Art said, Brock, I go, this man is a legend when it comes to sharing knowledge. And many drillers have egos and we don't want to share things, and we do where it's tribal knowledge. The next generation should just learn it. They got to be on the platform. Why? Why share the knowledge?
I've always used this phrase, if you will, or this line, your help on a drill rig, your success is only as good as the teacher, right? And I always, trust me, I was never the greatest in my youth. As the older I got, thinking it would make my life a lot easier if I could pass that knowledge on to some people and go, makes my life a lot easier, right? And the one thing that I think that we'll all be measured by is the success that we can pass on and teach. And it does me no good to keep it all up here. It's the first opportunity I get to open up and hear about a terrible drill hole, hear about a problem, but man, I'll tell you, let's just start throwing things at the wall and see what works, and rely upon the people that are around you. And it just makes me so happy to see people be successful. And that's it in a nutshell, really. I mean, that's the gratitude I get, and like I said, this industry has provided me and my family with some of the greatest things that a person could ever ask for: security, knowledge, and hey, I think it's paramount that we share that with upcoming generations. There's a lot to do out there.
And there's nothing greater than making that core come out of the ground, that water come out of the ground, that resource. Like, I get goosebumps thinking about it when you see it come out. Yep. And you're successful.
Yep. When you're set out tasked to do a job and you're completed, to me that is the most gratifying, satisfying. And you go, we did what we ran into some road bumps, we worked through it, we worked as a team, and we completed it. And you work with industry experts. Man, I'll tell you what, there's some people out there that what I like, if I don't know, there's people around I can ask, and I always reach out for help.
And that's it. We're a great industry. We're a small industry, but you run into Art, ask him questions. You send me and ask Brock, I don't know the answer. I'm reaching out to experts. I'm reaching out to the Matrix guys. I'm reaching out to other rig manufacturers, other fluids engineers, because we're better together. That's what this conference is all about, being better together.
Correct.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Brock.
Hi, this is Brock Yordy. I am live at the National Groundwater Week 2022. This is Thursday. You're going to hear rigs. You're going to hear some noises. We're wrapping up the IGSPA conference, International Ground Source Heat Pump Association conference, just wrapped. I did some teaching, and I was able to grab one of the industry's greatest advocates and just one of the most knowledgeable guys we got promoting our industry, Jack DiEnna here. Jack, introduce yourself.
Thanks, Brock. I'm Jack DiEnna. I'm the Executive Director of the Geothermal National and International Initiative. I'm an ambassador for the industry, and I'm an IGSPA board member. And I'm really glad to be here with all these drillers. I think there's 6,000 drillers here. What my message to the drilling community is, I don't think you guys know how important it is for you to be here. Without you as our allies, as our partners, as our partners in crime, we're air source heat pumps. So this technology is the only technology that's going to meet any goals that they're mentioning about climate change or anything else. Plus, you can make money, you can make your kids money, you can give your kids a way to do business. But remember, I know before you may have felt like, oh, you're only the driller. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, and I've been in this business 35 years, without you, okay, our industry is not here. Without you, I can't drill holes with a shovel, okay? You know how to do this. Whether or not it's good, bad, or indifferent, it's the way it should be. So once again, stop thinking that you can't do this or that you're not wanted. I'm going to tell you, from our industry, from the geothermal industry, we need you. And we need people to be talking about this, but get it through your head. You are the key to this industry. So for whatever that's worth, if I could say it any stronger, but I can't curse on this thing. So
Jack, my question. We as the water well industry or industrial drilling industry have jumped in and out of geothermal a couple times. And we've gotten a little gun shy because we hear, hey, it's time, and then tax breaks and things go away. What's different right now than what was 10 years ago?
I'll tell you what's different. 10 years ago, nobody thought that the world was going to end in 5 years with climate change. 10 years ago, we didn't have the Inflation Reduction Act that was just passed that gives everybody 30%. And better yet, if you're a nonprofit like a school, they'll give you a cash payment. So it's not going to be, and by the way, 10 years ago, we didn't have people that I get a call from probably 3 times a week that want to own loops. So what happened in the past is the people that got in, then geo dried up. It's not going to dry up anymore because people recognize this is the only technology that works 24/7. Let's face it, everybody put their dollars on solar and wind. Solar runs 15% of the time, wind runs 20% of the time. Geothermal heat pumps run 24/7, 365 days a year. And by the way, we're not impacted by storms. Okay, so you're part of an industry that's actually going to take us to the next level. I know it's caveman technology, but we need you, or we're not the cave.
Thank you, Jack. It's been a great conference.
Great,
I appreciate your
time. It has been. Thanks very much. And I'll see you next year right here.
Excellent.
Okay.
Thank you.
I want to thank Art Steelman for discussing the importance of sharing knowledge on the job site and everybody being on the same page. And Jack DiEnna for discussing the future of geothermal and the importance as drillers we have as an impact on this. It starts with, look at the state of New York, 2 million residential homes that we hoped to have gotten pretty close to by 2025. And now we keep pushing that goal out. Every bit of additional drilling we have right now can be used in New York. Think about building new drillers and the repetition and the muscle memory we can get from residential and commercial geothermal and the diversification of our equipment. And that's exactly what leads to our main story of the week. How are we going to scale up for all of the endless opportunities, the Inflation Reduction Act and the infrastructure law has put billions of dollars into drilling, from drought resilience in the Western United States to new technology for research into geothermal, abandoning orphan wells, $4.1 billion over the next 4 years, mining rehabilitation, PFAS funding. There's plenty of money out there. We have to scale. We, as the industry of drillers with high capital X equipment, need to use our tribal knowledge and be the expert, be the book. We've discussed this many times, but it comes back to understanding we have to be the individuals to advocate, or we're going to have accountants and lawyers, which we need, but they will have investors and they will start companies. And we will see individuals coming from the West Coast to the East Coast to do geothermal and advocating for what they believe right, hearing things like, it's not a drilling problem, it's a logistical problem. And when they can't find the tribal knowledge of what's worked for us in the United States, in Canada, North America for drilling, they're going to start looking elsewhere. And that's where we see the influx of other drilling methods from around the world. So nothing wrong with those. It's just we have to understand the best available tool is the one that we have been successful with and how we innovate that. And with that, we have to inspire that next generation. And I want to end our 2022 season of the Driller Newscast with what the playing field looks like right now as a recap. There are 745,000 construction employers employing 7.6 million people. Those people generate $1.4 trillion worth of business. That's just under $200,000 per employee. 1.2 million construction workers left the industry this year to do other things. 1 in 5 construction workers is older than the age of 55. And when we look at the State of the Industry Groundwater Council 2022, and you all should be signing up to do the 2023 State of the Industry survey so we can have the best numbers possible for those investors, for the equipment manufacturers, so we know how to ramp up. It's well over 55 years old. Our industry is 94% men with just 6% women, and we need to work harder at championing all of the great women that not only want to do marketing and some of the soft skill applications, which are very important to our industry because we're really good with our hands and we're really poor with a pencil and attention to detail outside of standing on that platform. But we need more women in our industry. The highest paid jobs in construction are electricians, plumbers, pipe fitters, and carpenters. In the United States right now, there is 166 million Americans working with the average pay $27 an hour. The median construction pay right now, $18 an hour. And you wonder, with an unemployment rate of 3.6%, and we drive down the highway and we see signs that say, work at this fast food restaurant today, get paid today, paid holidays, insurance. It's tough. We need to be thinking about how we're going to onboard And as we dive deeper into just construction equipment operators, we make up 1.2 million of those construction workers out of that 7.6 million. And how does that break down? 280,000 work in oil and gas, and the market's slow right now. 573,000 work in mining. 257,990 are operating engineers or other construction equipment operators. That leaves the drilling industry, our very specialized trade that we need to be able to make water come out of the ground. We need to be able to hit net zero with geothermal at about 0.5%, maybe 1% of the entire construction workforce. The difference between industrial drilling applications, oil and gas, mining, construction operating engineers, they all have extensive onboarding, training, expectations, and goals. This idea of nepotism, that we just have an endless pipeline of young men and women that have had parents in the industry, it isn't the same. And it's not going to be the same as we have a global reach with the internet and the ability to see all that there is. We need to be recruiting right from the get-go. And we had a missed opportunity in 2022. 3,650,000 high school graduates entered the workforce in May and June. 86% of those felt pressure to get a 4-year degree. Why? High schools don't have the same counselors as they did. There's no direction. There's no shop class like there used to be. Trade schools are coming back. Trades are coming back. But we don't have that. Let's use our hands and be that industry we want to be. They want to build their own way. They want to be impactful. Generation Z. They want to have purpose. 50% of all high school students believe they can be successful without a 4-year degree. But their parents went to college. Their parents experienced the housing market crash, the impact of student loan debt. But the millennial workforce, the youngest of the Generation X, saw that Wall Street and science industry and medical and engineering was what we needed for a future. And sure, look at what we all did to come together for this crazy virus, for the vaccine rollout, or electrical vehicles, or the innovations we've had. And those are very important to us. Gen Z wants to learn skills to be successful. They want to work with their hands. However, bachelor degrees still earn more than individuals that didn't go on to get a secondary degree, about $55,000 a year, and are less likely to be unemployed. We have to show our industry that there is a future and that we want you. 65% of our workforce right now does not have a secondary degree. There's people out there willing to work. It's how we treat this situation and we move on. Again, I want you to think about the $310 million that has been invested into water wells across the country for those areas that don't have access to clean water or don't have the funding to purchase a water well themselves, or the $9.5 billion for the Western drought resiliency. And again, $4.7 million package to abandon orphan wells throughout the country. If we have the tooling to abandon wells, and you start thinking about that availability, it's a great way to diversify your business, be able to invest in the future, and move on. I want you to have a wonderful holiday season. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. All of the holidays are very important. And Happy New Year. Let's start 2023 strong and realize we got to inspire the next generation to be part of us, to be part of discovering the unknown, helping bring resources out of the ground, saving the planet, providing water, crops, food, sustainability. These are all things that drilling does. Thank you for joining us for episode 42 of the Driller Newscast. This is a wrap. This is the end of season 1. We'll be back January 9th with fresh episodes. I want to personally thank the Driller team, starting with Jeremy Verduzco, the editor of the Driller. Jeremy has a unique, crazy job. He wordsmiths my content. He helps me look way smarter than I should sometimes. He collaborates on ideas with me. He hosts the Drilling Insight podcast and graciously lets me be the co-host. He helps keep the Driller moving forward. A huge thanks to the BMP video editing team, from Drew to Graham Block and the legendary, phenomenal Marie Sandy, who not only edits and polishes the newscast each week, but created that badass introduction you hear at the beginning of every episode. The video editing team is for all of BMP media, and there's much bigger magazines with engineering, review, and art record. And for them to find time each week to help do post-production and polish this content is very important to me. And I thank you, all of you, so very much. The team continues with Tammy, who creates all the great logos, and Kyle and brand marketing, who also helps us book the PFAS episode guests and has come up with other ideas and how we can promote this news. And a thank you to our brand publisher, Mike Balzano. Finally, none of this news is possible without the Driller's national sales manager and my wife, Chelsea Yordy. She not only works on advertising, but also is a kick butt mother and wife who wrangles our 4 and 6-year-old while I film the news on Sunday nights. She's my best friend and personal PR person that is the first one to slap my leg and say, "Do you really want to phrase it that way?" Thank you, Chelsea. We've published 42 weeks in a row, and I couldn't have done it without the Driller team, our special guests, the advertisers who have helped bring the news, and you. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Start 2023 off right, being safe, economically smart, and efficient with your drilling business. Cheers, everybody.